What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another brand new Division 2 video. In today's video, I want to quickly show you guys my new SMG build that I've been working on for the past 2 or 3-ish days. Honestly, I just got really bored of using the exact same M1A/Baker Dozen build every single day, no matter really what I was going to be doing, whether it was PvPing or just going into the Dark Zone farming or doing control points or missions. Whatever it was overall in terms of farming, there was a 99.9% chance that I was most likely going to be using my Baker's Dozen build. And for me, it got boring. So I want to change it, and I haven't really gone for anything PvP since, I guess, the first year-ish since the game released. And I wanted to switch it up, and I want to go for an SMG build. So I thought I would show you guys the build that I'm currently working on right now. And just have you guys give your take on what the build may need in terms of changes, whether it's good or bad, and just overall recommendations for the build, because I haven't really done anything PvP in this game in a while, especially with SMG, since SMGs really don't get a lot of love in this game right now. It's pretty much all LMGs and pretty much only marksman rifles, or rifles I should say right now. So I want to switch it up, go into the Dark Zone, maybe do a little bit more conflict, especially since I haven't really touched in this game a whole lot. And just switch it up in general, because it gets so boring using the exact same thing and doing the exact same thing every single day. So if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure you guys drop a like on the subscribe channel if you guys are new. And let's get right to the video. Next, moving on to the weapons, we have the named SMG called the Dark Winter. 12% SMG damage, 16% crit hit chance, and 5% damage to armor. With the perfect killer named Talent on this weapon as well. Killing an enemy with a critical hit grants 50% critical hit damage for 10 seconds. And for our secondary weapon, we're actually just running a normal classic M1A. I didn't want to put the Baker's Dozen on there, but we'll talk a little bit further in the video about some theory crafting I have that goes along with some specific piece of gear and talents and stuff like that. So we'll keep that in mind for a little bit further into the video. But running a normal classic M1A with 538k base total damage, rifle damage at 15%, 13% crit hit damage, and 5% damage to armor with the Optimus talent on it as well. Didn't really want to spend too much time on these weapons, because at the end of the day, these aren't the weapons that I actually want on the build. I do want to run an actual vector on the build still, just not this one. So for this build specifically in this video, these are what we're running right now. But at the end of the day, like I said, we're going to be swapping out and trying to find weapons that are going to be better than these. So moving on to the gear for the build, I want to quickly go over the 3, I guess, staples of the build right now. So that is going to be the named knee pads, which are the Fox Prayers knee pads, 15% weapon damage, 8% damage to target out of cover, and 17,302 health. Moving on to the gloves, we obviously have the named gloves as well, which are the Contractor's gloves. 15% weapon damage, 8% damage to armor, and 2,662 armor regen. And then moving on to the mask, obviously we have the named Coyote's mask. 15% weapon damage, 4.1% crit hit chance, 11.9% crit hit damage, and 10.7% crit hit damage on the mod. And the main reason why we're running this mask is for the talent that it gives you on the mask. So we're going to be going for all of these, I guess, bonuses that the talent gives you, but we're most likely always going to be activating the 0 to 15 meter and the 15 to 25 meter. We might get the 25 meter plus one sometimes, but since this is a SMG build and we're going to be having a lot of close quarter combat engagements for fights and stuff like that, whether it's in the Dark Zone or in conflict, we're probably not going to be really having a lot of engagements farther than 25 meters. We might every once in a while, but for the most part, we're going to be in people's face, obviously engaging in that 0 to 15 meter and the 15 to 25 meter as well. Moving on to the backpack, we are running a one-piece Providence Defense, which is the backpack, obviously. So we have 15% weapon damage, 3.5% crit hit chance, 10.8% critical hit damage, and a mod with 10.1% critical hit damage as well. Moving on to the talent, this is going back a little bit in the beginning of the video when I was talking about a talent that kind of went with some of my weapons that I was running on the build. So for the backpack, we are running the versatile talent, which amplifies total weapon damage for 10 seconds when swapping between your primary and secondary weapons if they are different. Honestly, if you could run the same weapons, like 2 vectors for instance, that would be pretty fucking dope, but unfortunately that'd be super overpowered, and I can understand where they're coming from. But the main thing we're trying to get from this talent is the first one that you guys see right there, 35% to enemies within 15 meters for shotguns and SMGs. We're not running shotguns, but we are running an SMG. and that 35% bonus is going to be pretty useful. And this is also going back a little bit to the beginning of the video when I talked about possibly running a different variant of my classic M1A. I have a classic M1A that has a max attribute roll for weapon swap, and since this talent revolves around swapping weapons a lot to get your bonuses from this talent, I honestly thought it'd be a pretty good idea to just move that weapon onto the actual build. And when I have my M1A on, since it has the max swap roll on it, it would just swap to your primary weapon or swap to the other weapon that you're using, which is my Vector, even faster since it has that max swap roll. You guys let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about that. I was just theory crafting a little bit about some of the worthless attributes that a lot of people don't use, and I thought that would go pretty well with the versatile talent, since obviously this revolves around swapping weapons to get your bonuses. So moving on to the last two pieces, they are both Sokolov. The vest that I have right now has 13.3% weapon damage, 11% critical hit damage, 10% headshot damage, and a mod with 10.3% critical hit damage. Now the talent we're not really even going to talk about because this isn't the talent that I want. It's also useless as well. But just keep in mind, guys, I feel like I have really low armor on this build. 686k. It's not really that high. My goal is to end up at 700,000 somehow. I really don't know how I can raise it or if I even can raise it. I was also thinking about maybe swapping off one of my reds and putting on a blue so that I can get an extra 170,000 armor. But then I also feel like I'm not going to be doing as much damage either. But since we have a talent that isn't really useful on our build right now, I was thinking about going for the Unbreakable talent, but I also wanted something to go along with Versatile or something that's going to give me even more damage as well. But on the other hand, since we don't even have 700,000 armor, I do think it would be a pretty good idea to have Unbreakable to kind of give us that extra lifeline when we do get one shot. I think it has a 60-second cooldown, but if we're going to be in conflict, we're going to be dying a lot anyways and taking a lot of damage, so I guess at the end of the day, probably Unbreakable would probably be the best to go for right now with the build, especially considering that I don't even have 700,000 armor, and I don't think there's any way to get the armor higher without adding a blue onto the build. So I guess that's something we'll have to try to theory craft around or work around, but I think Unbreakable is what I'm going to be going with. That's kind of at the top of my list, like top 3 in terms of talents I'm going for on my vest right now, but I guess it's something that'll happen on a day-to-day basis when I do actually get a vest that has a talent that I want. And then lastly, moving on to the holster, we have the Sokolov holster, 11.9% weapon damage, 12.5% weapon handling, and 6% critical hit chance. This is probably the worst piece of gear that's on the build right now. One, because the damage is not even anywhere near close to being max. It's not even at 12%. The max is 15. It does have a max roll for critical hit chance, but it also doesn't have any headshot damage or any critical hit damage. Has weapon handling, which is 1000% what we don't want. It is a red, but that's most certainly not what we want. So overall, mainly for the build right now, we're just looking for pieces that have higher weapon damage so that we can get that weapon damage even higher. Also quickly, some of you guys might have been wondering what my stats looked like. 79,755 weapon damage, 35,000 PvP weapon damage, 44.6% critical hit chance. That critical hit chance would be maxed out from the mask as well as our versatile coming in handy as well. We have 104.8% critical hit damage, 70% headshot damage, and 13% armor damage. I don't think there's really any other main stats that a lot of people probably want to see. But yeah, overall, in terms of the build right now, I'm pretty happy with what we have right now for the amount of time that we've put into the build. But I think mainly weapons are kind of first on the list, as well as the vest. So the weapons and the vest are kind of the first priority for this build right now, because right now I do have a pretty good vest, don't get me wrong, but I have a wasted slot in terms of my talent because I'm getting nothing and it's useless right now for the talent on the vest. So the vest is one of my main priorities, as well as my Vector is pretty much useless as well because I'm not really getting any use out of the talent, which is why I said at the beginning of the video that I'm looking for a different Vector still. I want to use a Vector, just something that's not this named version, because I want to be able to use my own talent and not the one that this one has locked on it. But guys, that is going to about do it for the video today. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys drop a like and a subscribe channel if you guys are new. And also, if you guys have any recommendations or anything that you guys think that I should swap or implement into this build, make sure you guys let me know down in the comment section below, because there's probably a ton of things that I missed out on this build that I could probably make better. But for the most part, this is what we're working with, and it's going to take some time to be able to get the pieces that I need to make this build even better. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.